The terminal at Halston International Airport was unusually quiet for a late Monday afternoon. Somewhere beyond the walls of glass and metal, a voice murmured over the intercom: flight delays, gate changes, the generic chorus of travel, but gate C-27 remained still, almost reverent. The overhead lights buzzed faintly in the silence, flickering against rows of molded plastic seats and travelers lost in their phones or their thoughts. Rain tapped softly against the windows, more mist than storm. Its scent carried in from the tarmac, faint but grounding. Outside, the tarmac glistened in shades of gray. Inside, everything held its breath. Then came a sound not loud, but sharp in the stillness. Click, click, click. A gentle tapping like fingernails against tile, but not quite. From the far end of the concourse, a little girl appeared. No taller than the pull handle of a carry-on suitcase. She walked with deliberate steps, her hand clutched tightly around a thick harness attached to the shoulders of a large German shepherd. She was pale, almost ghost-like in complexion, with dark circles under her eyes and lips pressed into a straight line. Her other hand trembled slightly at her side. She didn't look up, not once. Her name was Marin, and the dog, the Sentinel, walking in perfect pace beside her, black along the spine, tan legs, every step measured and precise. His name was Bastian. 9 years old, retired medical service dog, and, in every way that mattered, her lifeline. They moved together like pieces of a single machine, built not for performance, but for survival. A flight attendant, mid-conversation with a pilot near the counter, glanced toward the sound. Her smile faltered as her eyes landed on the dog. "I'm sorry," she said gently, stepping toward them. "Pets aren't allowed in the cabin unless—" Before she could finish, Bastian stopped. With deliberate grace, he lowered his head and nudged forward a weathered leather tag hanging from his collar. The silver emblem had faded with age, but the inscription remained legible. Medical Service Dog, Seizure Alert. The flight attendant's expression changed. Her eyes shifted from the dog to the girl, to the slight twitch in Marin's left fingers, to her uneven breath, to the tension held too tight for someone so small. "I'll need to check with the captain," the attendant said softly. Her voice was careful now, unsure. A few seats away, Marin's mother stood still, tall, composed, the kind of composure that only comes from necessity, not peace. Her eyes never left her daughter. Then the cockpit door opened. Out stepped Captain Ronald Hughes, tall, broad-shouldered, silver hair tucked neatly beneath his cap. His uniform was immaculate, shoes shined, posture squared. He moved like a man accustomed to decisions that were final. Not a man of warmth nor cruelty, a man of policy. His gaze swept the scene, first to the dog, then to the girl, and finally to the harness connecting them. "That animal won't fly in my cabin," he said flatly. Marin's mother stepped forward. "He's her service dog," she said, voice calm. "He alerts to seizures." "He's too big," the captain interrupted. "He'll block the aisle. That's a safety violation." Passengers stirred. A man in a business suit muttered under his breath. A woman in yoga pants pulled her toddler closer, as if bracing for conflict. But Bastian didn't react. He sat still, ears forward, eyes alert. Watching. Waiting. Marin's fingers tightened on his fur. Then it happened. A sound almost imperceptible slipped from the dog's throat. A low, broken whimper. Not pain. Not fear. Warning. His posture shifted in an instant. Muscles tense. Nose pressed urgently against Marin's thigh. Marin blinked once. Then again. And then she collapsed. Gasps echoed across the terminal. Her body went limp mid-step, and her head tilted back in a slow, terrifying arc, but Bastian was faster. In a fluid, practiced motion, he surged forward, slid beneath her falling body, and braced. His paws locked in place, spine stiff, absorbing her weight with the precision of a brace designed by instinct and love. Then 2 sharp arcs. Not loud, not panicked. Trained, commanding, alert. Phones rose. Recording started. Someone yelled for help. Her mother dropped to her knees, her voice rising into sobs, as she called her daughter's name. But Bastian stayed right where he was, nose against Marin's cheek, steady and still. Airport medics sprinted toward the scene, defibrillator bag bouncing at one medic's side. They slowed as they neared the girl. Bastian's eyes never left them. Not aggressive, not fearful, protective. One medic crouched slowly, hands raised, voice low. "It's okay, buddy," she said gently. "We're here to help." With extreme care, they eased Marin on her side. Her limbs were twitching now, a seizure, active but controlled. The medic applied an oxygen mask. Another clipped a heart monitor to her wrist. Still, Bastian didn't move. One paw remained across her small shoulder. His breath steady, his focus total. Minutes passed. The worst of it receded. Then, slowly, her eyelids fluttered. Her breathing slowed. She reached through the air, blindly. Bastian pressed forward, lowering his head until it touched hers. A hush fell across the terminal. Then her mother whispered the words everyone had felt but dared not speak. He saved her. Captain Hughes stood frozen. His arms, once crossed in disapproval, now hung limp at his sides. His jaw had slackened. His eyes, once hard, were glassy with something unspoken. He didn't look at the dog. He looked at the girl. At the way her small hand now rested on the dog's flank. At the way her body folded into his like he'd been born to carry her weight. His first officer stepped beside him. "Sir," she said quietly, "we can't separate them." A long pause. A breath. And then softly, like years of certainty exhaled in a single word, Captain Hughes said, "Fine." He stays. At her feet. No exceptions. No one clapped. No one cheered. But the air shifted. A kind of reverence passed through the gate. Not celebration. Respect. They boarded slowly. Marin walked with one hand on her mother's arm, the other on Bastian's harness. The dog never wavered. Not once. Not even when the engines roared to life. Not even when the passengers stared. He led her to her seat in row 3 and settled across her lap like armor. When turbulence struck over the Colorado Rockies, Marin trembled. Bastian pressed closer. When her breath caught, he nudged her gently with his nose, as if to say, "You're safe." Passengers watched, some with awe, some with tears. Even the businessman who had scoffed earlier now sat quietly, ashamed, eyes turned toward the clouds. Hours passed. Clouds turned to city lights. The wheels touched down, and Marin woke with a smile, faint but present. She whispered something only Bastian heard. His tail thumped once in reply. They exited the aircraft last. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting the airport in soft amber glow. Shadows stretched across the tarmac like fingers brushing memory. Just beyond the gate, Marin knelt. She wrapped both arms around Bastian's thick neck. "Good boy," she whispered. He leaned into her, eyes half closed. Content. Then footsteps. Measured. Hesitant. Captain Hughes approached. He stopped a few feet away, removed his hat, and then slowly he knelt. It looked like a foreign gesture to him. Awkward. Stiff. Like kneeling wasn't something he did anymore. Or perhaps ever. "I was wrong," he said. Not loudly. Just enough. About him. Bastian looked up. There was no growl. No anger. No punishment. Only pause. And then, with the grace of something ancient and wise, Bastian stepped forward and gently licked the captain's hand. A single, disbelieving laugh slipped from Hughes' throat. And then a tear. Somewhere overhead, a plane climbed into the sky. A new journey. A new horizon. And behind it, the quiet story of a little girl, a retired dog, and the kind of loyalty that no rule book could measure. Because not all heroes wear capes. Some wear harnesses, and walk beside the ones they were born to protect.